Hi, welcome. We're going to start today's reading with an oracle card from the Shaman's Dream. I love it. It's from Alberto Villoldo. I don't know how to say his last name. I've actually taken an online class with him last year. Oh my God, it's been almost 2 years now. And he in shamanism. And then apparently he collaborated for this oracle deck. So I really like the way it's written. All right, what are we dealing with today? The wall, obstacles. Ooh. This will be interesting. Number 56. Let's read it. Okay. Obstacles: being inconvenienced by life, detours, non-action. There are moments in your life when you are so geared up, so sure that you are on track, with such drive and momentum that you are shocked and confused when you encounter a wall. This unpredictability occurs outside your ability to plan. Regardless of if you've done everything right in alignment with the divine, it's imperative that you change your attitude now. This temporary roadblock is not an obstacle to blast through. This is not an invitation to push harder, cancel other plans, or worry about who will win or lose. This is a stopping point to enable you to slow down and contemplate the part of the manifesting equation that you and everyone else forgets. Life on life's terms will override your best laid plans. Yes, as inconvenient as it may seem, this experience is an important reminder that you are a human being, not a human doing. Perhaps you're being reminded of your mortality, or that you are but a small part of a bigger universe where your destiny intersects with others. Your life may be meant to serve another purpose at this moment, and your attention meant to be directed elsewhere. Consider that this place of temporary non-action is exactly meant to be for you. Perhaps it's because all you desire and have set in motion needs time to coalesce into form on the other side. Could it be that all the elements are not yet in place for its manifestation to be for the highest good of all? Patience is required now, and the wisdom that this might be a great time to take a break and contemplate gratitude. What is truly yours will never be walled off from you. Like that message. So temporary roadblocks, not temporary non-action. Okay, so the wall, obstacles. We'll see if that has anything to do with the cards that come up today. And that gives us a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of insight. So where do you feel like that in your life? Immediately what came to me was like how we don't always know that's where we are. Like this temporary non-action, or it could be like a temporary slowdown. And it feels very subtle when we don't have something major that it's really apparent. Like, for example, if we're working on a project or house renovation or whatever, something concrete that says, well, that stalled out for some reason. We don't know. It feels like we don't always know when we're in that place of non-action, because we may not have framed it in terms of like, well, I have this big thing going on and it's stopped. It may just feel like, to me, it feels like maybe aimlessness, not knowing where to put my energy. It might feel like things like negative things happening in life where they say, oh, it always happens in threes. When you stay focused on the negative things that appear to be cropping up that drains your energy. So it doesn't always maybe feel like an overt obstacle to a very overt thing that you have going on. So we'll see if I don't know why that was coming to me, but I just wanted to call that out. Like, it just feels like so subtle that we may not even recognize the non-action as non-action. Okay. because it's, I don't know, I'm thinking of like, in my life, it might feel like distraction energy. What am I even distracting from? I don't even know. But it feels like maybe spinning my wheels. But I'm like, how if I don't have something I'm working toward, something concrete? So I don't know. We'll see what comes up. Okay, we have the Seven of Cups. I feel like I have a hair right here. My last client had really long hair, so it's probably all over. Temperance. Oh, I don't know if I've got this card before. Ooh, interesting artwork. It's like a bunch of cups lifted out of lotus flowers, I guess, with hands. They're overflowing. So this Seven of Cups, it's funny that it's all multicolored, like cup imagery. And with the Seven of Cups, it's one of having like a lot of options. And it's funny that I mentioned like it might feel like spinning your wheels or aimlessness, because this has like when we have too many options and we're like in daydreaming mode and just sort of like not, our energy isn't focused in one direction. It's focused on like 7 different things that are competing for our attention. And sometimes it feels like, I could do that, or I could do that, or like it's that energy where your energy feels spread thin, or drained in some way. And the downside to this is like analysis paralysis. If we're trying to choose one of those 7 directions, we would stay stuck in like that. Well, spinning your wheels is the energy of the Seven of Cups usually, unless we but usually in this story is like, which one are you going to pick and go after and put all your energy in that direction? So this is very much related to the wall, the obstacle that we talked about, this temporary non-action. And then the feeling I was getting is like how subtle it can be with like aimlessness and spinning your wheels. And so temperance is here. Usually temperance means like moderation, balance, harmony. Like, how are you alchemizing those energies of like how, and what I mean is like, how are you maybe bringing that spread out energy back in to be useful? Do you feel like that right now, especially at the holidays, where it's like everything competes for our attention at the holidays? It feels like it anyway. I don't know. Even though I'm not a big holiday person, I still feel that like there's just like a lot in the periphery to like keep in mind, and like who's coming over, what days, and do I have to cook, and like what presents do I need to buy still, and all the first world like problems, that aren't really problems. It's really all a joy at the end of the day of togetherness and generosity and gratitude, and yet even that can feel like an obstacle. It can feel like my energy is being like depleted. So all that is showing up with those first 2 cards. Let's get a few more and see what we can learn. All right. We have the Two of Pentacles. I swear to MFNF, this card keeps coming up for like 2 weeks straight. The Two of Pentacles. This feels like we are balancing something. It's a big card of balancing. No, that's not for me. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing at facing my parking lot, but I don't expect my next client for a little while. So, but this Two of Pentacles has been coming up, and I have to believe, because of the weird way this stuff works, energy wise, is like, do you feel like we're all collectively like something's hanging in the balance, or we're trying to find balance or trying to find footing, and it just sort of feels like we're trying to feel grounded, we're trying to get grounded, whatever that means to you, like we're trying to be present but feeling a little off kilter. So that one keeps showing up. What's interesting to me is the waves in this one, and how there's so much like There's protection energy showing up here, fire energy, and then water surrounding all of it. That does feel like the protection and the fire, like the fire meaning when I think of pointing all my energy in one direction, usually I think of wands. Like something says we need to harness that energy in one direction. And then with that pomegranate of protection and also like a fertility kind of symbol, there's this feeling in this flavor of the Two of Pentacles. It feels like, hold on, it's coming to me. How are you protecting your energy so that you can harness it, alchemize it, turn it into the kind of energy that will allow you to focus it in one direction, to keep that fire lit? So it feels like this encompasses all of that. Okay, we'll see though. Then the next one is the Hierophant. I don't think I've gotten this card in this deck either till now. The Hierophant is one of like seeking counsel. Where are you seeking counsel, or are you the one giving it? But in this case, it feels like seeking counsel because we have that Seven of Cups right there at the top of the spread. So that's the primary energy. Where are you seeking wisdom, seeking counsel? Is something calling you to do that? So it's like when we, like, it almost feels like we're in this time, or we've been in this time perhaps of like spinning our wheels and like, okay, I feel like I'm not doing anything or getting anywhere. I'm not pushing through. There was this energy of like walking through mud or something. I feel it all around me. I feel it with myself, the people I talk to on a daily basis. And maybe that's just the nature of between Thanksgiving and the end of the year, where it's like we have to focus on all of that extra stuff this time of year versus like our own purpose, mission, vision, path, journey, whatever. Right? It's like we have, and it's not a bad thing. It's usually because we're connecting with family and friends, and we have activities and events and celebrations. It's all good stuff, right? But it does feel like there's like, okay, now all my energy is diverted to something else. And maybe for you, you have to feel it for your own self. For me, I just keep thinking about the holidays as an easy example, but I feel it in myself sort of like maybe it's an end of year thing. Like, okay, I'm just going to write out the end of the year. Maybe I didn't accomplish the things I didn't even speak to people about, like these little goals I have in life. And then, okay, well, they didn't come to fruition. So we'll just ride this year out and start fresh, right? Like New Year's resolution style, whatever. It just feels like that energy of like, okay, my energy, I let it get depleted maybe all year long here and there. And looking back, it's like, what if I had harnessed that? What if I'd harnessed it like in one direction, in the direction that really lights me up? Where would I be today? Maybe there's that sort of inner counsel being sought too. Like take a moment to say, what if I had done that? Because this is the card of what if, the Seven of Cups. So I don't want to pass over that lightly. It's a card of daydreaming, the what if kind of daydreaming. Not like negative reflection, like, oh, make yourself feel bad about it, but it's like, what if? So that we can start off on the right foot next time around. Well, speaking of next time around, that was weird. Wheel of Fortune. So this is starting to feel exactly what this is about. So the Wheel of Fortune is like, that's the only constant is change. Things come around, things keep going. There is no stopping point, right? Like everything's constantly in flux, constantly moving. So what can we do? What did we learn about how we let our energy kind of dissipate in ways that we didn't really intend? Where did we just let it spread thin? Or was I too focused on what other people thought? And I can now call that energy back to say, I'm not going to do that next year, because I don't know why year matters. It's such an arbitrary time frame. Because this is a card of not really putting any credence, I guess, in points in time, because this is, you could say that it's all about time, or it's all about the fact that there is no such thing as time, because things are constantly in flux. So if you try to remove the shackles, like, I feel like sometimes the time, this perception we have of time, is the obstacle itself, isn't it? It's like when we think about time in that concrete way, like it exists, and it doesn't, does it? How did we all agree about, oh, numbers are a good way to track the movement of this thing we call time, the movement of happenings? Like, what is time? It's nothing. And the Wheel of Fortune says that. So, and the Hierophant is like seeking our counsel, like seeking our wisdom, and really in a tangible way. The Hierophant is definitely not a, like, it might have a mystical sounding name, but it isn't. It's a teacher, it's a mentor. And so it's like, where are we seeking that wisdom of what's our own wisdom telling us about where are we letting our energy dissipate, and how are we trying to temper the what ifness, not the what ifness, but all these things in different all my energy in different directions. How am I going to now stop that from happening going forward? Right. So, and it's not a bad thing to daydream, but if you are on the side of that daydream and it makes it feel like, well, where'd my energy go? I feel like I've done nothing with it. Then it might be something to contemplate. Okay, so what I want to do, we'll use these guys. I haven't used these in a while, I don't think. Okay, so let's get some clarifications on, I don't like the word, I can't believe I just said it. I was thinking about obstacles, like that temporary non-action. We can harness the non-action into reflection and contemplation, can't we, with the Hierophant? So let's see, like, what could we learn in the non-action? What should we be focusing on? So we have the 10 of Swords and the 9 of Cups. Oh, interesting, because the 10 of Swords is one of, like, there's all of that, it feels like the thought energy is showing up here to say, see that for what it is. It's the only thing that truly causes harm, because what's here is non-time. There's really nothing to be done. We can be at peace in the non-action. Okay, so it's saying that let all the thoughts, the preconceptions of that go. This is like the time has come to let all of those, the thought-based chaos go. The chaos that says, man, I got nothing done. I have nothing to show for it. That gets down on ourselves for if you do feel like your energy was spread thin. Because this whole reading has that positive, optimistic vibe to it that says, no, in the non-action, what are we going to learn? Like, how are we going to treat that? Not as a criticism, but where do we go from here? And how do we, back to Temperance, how do we, like, harness that energy? Back to the 2 of Pentacles, how do we balance it in our lives? Because you don't want to be all human doing either, right? So it's like, how do we balance the human doing and the human being parts of life, where you feel like, well, yeah, I got shit to do. I have to do things in this life, right? Let's get real. So the 9 of Cups is what they call, like, wish fulfillment. And I say they, like, usually it's the card that, like, the catchphrase is wish fulfillment. But it also has this element of contentedness and gratitude. And that's how the wish becomes fulfilled. It's almost like it was never a wish at all kind of feeling, right? So because everything feels full when we have gratitude. Everything feels complete, whole, like there's nothing I'm actually wishing for because I'm perfectly content with gratitude in this moment. So that feels like human being. This feels like the end of the cycle of human doing through thought. And this is like the beginning of the cycle of human being through gratitude, through being content with what is. So how is that? Like, feels like a little bit of paradox, maybe something like that, and a hot flash that says, well, is there really a wall here at all? Are there really obstacles at all? When you get down to it in the non-duality framework, it's like, no, there are no obstacles. It's all thought. It's all in our minds. It really is. It honestly really is. So how are we going to, through the Hierophant, seek our own wisdom through that? How are we going to understand that for our own selves? Like, but still feel like I am actually a human being and I've got stuff to do and I want to make headway on the things I really want out of this lifetime. I feel like that's the balance I've been feeling for a while from other people and my own self. And that's maybe why that Two of Pentacles keeps coming around. Okay, let's get one more card. Say, like, what about that? Human doing versus human being. It's funny, we got the two cards that can sum that up perfectly. 10 of Swords and 9 of Cups. Page of Swords. This is funny. Oh my God. So the reason I think it's funny is because, like, you wouldn't think we'd want to end on a note with more swords, right? But this is saying to me, like, that's the new emergence, is the youth. The pages are so youthful and joyful, and they have such a curiosity for learning. Like this particular one, the Page of Swords. Oh my God, I'm hot. So let's drink more coffee. So what this is saying to me is like, well, this is the balance we've been seeking. So we're always going to have thoughts. We're humans, right? I mean, you could go sit on a mountaintop and meditate, but not everyone's called to do that, right? So in our own grounded, realistic lives here on earth, how can we temper, because we have temperance here, that human being and human doing? This says curiosity is like the magic pill. It's the antidote to letting our energy spread too thin. Because I feel like, for at least for me, I feel like it's a truth. Whenever I get all up in my head about here's what I should be doing, like that should word, here's what I thought I wanted out of life, here's like all the thoughts, it's all thought based, and it usually has to do with expectations that I've taken upon myself, right, either from outside or inside myself, and said here's what I should be doing, right? And it's like, well, where did that come from? There's no curiosity in that whatsoever, is there? But when I can bring in curiosity to say, well, what am I really excited about doing or learning? Because this is the card that says curiosity, excitement for learning because of the sword. So what am I excited to learn? Like, I could learn about forever. And I've said this before in other readings, so it's no news. But like this reading in particular is about finding that balance between human being and doing, recognizing that there's really no real obstacle at all. It's all in thought. And how can I harness thought for good instead of evil? And it's like drop in that element of curiosity and excitement for learning. What am I curious about? I think about that a lot because I'm curious about a lot of things. And then I'm not so worried about what it's amounting to. I'm just on the curiosity train going nowhere. And I'm totally happy with that. It's like, I'm perfectly content not having any amount to anything. It's only when I stop and get more into my head that I'm like, oh man, I should be achieving something. It's so silly, isn't it? So we'll just call it done there, because it's like where this ended up, and I didn't know it was going to end up here, is that is there really an obstacle at all? right? Where is there really an obstacle at all? And I think we'll find that whenever we say, yeah, this, yeah, that's an obstacle, then turn around and say, where is that a thought that lacks curiosity or excitement? And look at it for what it is. And that's the Hierophant saying that. It's a very like realistic dude that says that's the kind of wisdom we're seeking. Just very like, let's get real. Okay, that's what we have. Thanks for being here. I hope you have a great week. Bye.